Hey everyone, welcome to Kevin's Auto Channel. I'm Kevin Walters, and today I want to talk a little bit about news in the auto industry. COVID-19 and the auto industry, plants have shut down worldwide because of the coronavirus. Automakers across the US and Europe have declared temporary shutdowns, including Detroit's Big Three, and many have extended their shutdowns beyond their original dates. As this pandemic continues to spread across the world, automakers are taking extreme measures in the form of plant closures to halt the spread of the disease. The situation remains fluid as more European companies suspend work and U.S. automakers extend shutdown periods. And needless to say, with the shutdown of the automakers, this has sent a ripple effect throughout all the suppliers and chains that supplied parts to the automakers themselves. They are also feeling the impact. Without the cars rolling off the assembly lines, there's simply no need for the nuts, bolts, and other car parts that the other manufacturers are producing for the big automakers. And unfortunately, it seems like they won't be up and running as quickly as they thought they would be. Many automakers continue to delay today of reopening their automobile production, but some are now making personal protective equipment. Every automaker has promised the shutdowns will lead to thorough disinfecting measures and deep cleans throughout their facilities. But first and foremost, they want the workers' health and safety prioritized. To help the suppliers, dealers, and other businesses impacted, the Alliance called on the U.S. government to implement a few measures. It asked the government to delay the quarterly federal tax payments and to provide tax credits to companies with more than 500 employees that offer paid sick leave to ensure that they can remain employed. So here are all the manufacturers and companies that have elected to halt productions in the U.S. and Europe so far. Information on Detroit's Big Three begins our coverage. Ford has shut down all their European and North American production. This happened on March the 19th to help combat the spread of the COVID-19 coronavirus. While Ford intended to reopen their facilities and restart production on March the 30th, on the 31st, the company announced that the goal has been delayed indefinitely. Production of Ford vehicles and engines across the pond is expected to resume on May 4th at the soonest. Now, Ford has committed to producing 50,000 ventilators within the next 100 days in concert with GE Healthcare in Rawsonville, Michigan. The production of these ventilators is set to begin on April 20th and will cap out at a planned 30,000 units per month once the lines are up to full operating speed. General Motors, GM joined Ford on March the 18th and announcing a total suspension of all North American production starting on March the 19th. The automaker said it would pull its facilities offline in cadence and each plant would receive specific instructions. GM hasn't made any announcements regarding when its plants would resume normal production, but it is helping in building ventilators just like Ford and masks at 2 of their US GM facilities. The automaker decided to build personal protective equipment before the Trump administration forced it to do so by invoking the Defense Production Act. Fiat Chrysler joined Ford and GM on March the 18th also in announcing it would suspend all North American operations to help stop the spread of COVID-19. While GM and Ford haven't established new dates to restart production, Fiat Chrysler has said that it plans on bringing back workers on May the 4th. We will see if this holds true. The Italian plants could be open on April the 14th, but all other European plants will be evaluated in the coming weeks. BMW said that they would halt production on the Ultimate Driving Machine on March 29th here at the local Spartanburg, South Carolina plant. The Spartanburg, South Carolina plant happens to be the headquarters and the only BMW plant here in the US. And of course, their European production has also ceased. Kia said it would suspend their production at its manufacturing plant in Georgia on March the 30th. Mazda, the Japanese automaker, said that it would halt its production at the Japanese plant for 13 days. When they come back online, the company said it would run only daytime shifts through April 30th. Mazda's Seoul plant in Mexico shut down for 10 days starting on March the 24th, and its plant in Thailand suspended operation for 10 days. Aston Martin, the British luxury car maker, said on March 24th that it would suspend all production starting that same day. The company plans to reopen across the UK on April the 20th. The Swedish luxury car maker Volvo made its production suspension official on March the 20th, and they said that its European plant would close until April the 5th. After the date came out and went, Volvo told that it would again reopen on April the 20th. This is the new target for the European factories. In the US, its plant went idle on March the 26th and plans to reopen on April the 14th. Volvo has since nixed that target and hopes to restart its US plant on May the 4th. After a lot of back and forth and fighting with the founder Elon Musk, Tesla finally announced on March 20th that it would halt production starting March the 23rd. The news followed confusion as the automaker appeared to be ignoring a shelter-in-place order for their county, but then cited unclear guidance from the government. Founder Elon Musk has since said that they would help in the production of ventilators. Bugatti, France's supercar, said on March the 20th that they would close its production plant to help stop the spread of COVID-19. The French automaker said that their workers' health is the top priority for them. The British luxury brand Bentley said on March the 20th that it would suspend production the same day in the UK. The factory will shut down for at least 4 weeks. Jaguar and Land Rover announced on March the 20th also that it would temporarily shut down its production for its UK facilities. Plants in Brazil and India will continue humming along for now, and the automaker said it hopes to restart the UK production on April the 20th. On March 21st, Volkswagen announced that it would temporarily shut down Chattanooga, Tennessee facility and suspend production. The automaker made the announcement on March the 19th, and they also included that their workers will receive their full pay during this furlough time. Like many other facilities, VW said it would use this time to do a deep clean of the facility and sanitize the entire factory. As of April 9th, the automaker said it's not clear when it will be able to resume normal operations and furlough the entire production and maintenance workforce. They say that the furlough will last no longer than 4 weeks, and while the workers lose their pay, VW will still pay for the health care, benefits, and their bonuses. On March the 18th, Toyota joined a growing list of automakers suspending all North American production operations, saying every plant in the US, Canada, and Mexico would shut down starting March the 23rd. On March the 26th, Toyota reassessed the situation. Production suspension will now last until April 20th, and on April 8th, the target date moved to May 1st. Subaru announced on March the 19th that its Seoul U.S. production plant would suspend production temporarily starting on March the 29th. On March the 23rd, the company planned to restart on March 29th, but then set the target date to April 20th. Japanese automaker Honda became the first operating company in the U.S. to announce a major production stoppage on March the 18th. Production suspension, which also applies to transmission and engine plants, was set to end after a week, but now Honda is currently scheduled to resume production on May the 4th. South Korean automaker Hyundai said on March the 18th that it would temporarily shut down its plant in Alabama after a worker tested positive for COVID-19. The company said that the worker had not been on the job recently and that all team members were made aware of the situation. Hyundai expects its Alabama plant to reopen on May the 1st. The company said on April 9th. The plant, in the meantime, will undergo additional sanitization measures during the suspension. Japanese automaker Nissan announced on March the 18th also that it would suspend all production in the U.S. starting on March the 20th. Operations in Mexico and Canada are not affected at this time. The plant shutdowns were supposed to run until April the 6th, but on April 1st, Nissan announced plants would remain shut down through the end of the month. The automaker announced that an employee working at the company headquarters tested positive for COVID-19 on April the 4th. Porsche said on March the 18th that it would stop production at its German plants to keep its workforce safe and healthy. The work stoppage was to last at least 2 weeks, but on April 6th the company decided to officially postpone production until April the 14th. British luxury marque Rolls-Royce said on March the 18th that it would suspend production at its UK facility for 2 weeks starting on March the 23rd. The shutdown was to extend into a pre-planned 2-week shutdown for the Easter holiday as an effort to keep workers healthy and follow new guidelines put in place by the federal government. Daimler shut down its Mercedes-Benz production plant in Alabama on March the 23rd and expects production to restart on April 20th. On March 17th, it would stop all production in Europe for at least 2 weeks, and on April 8th, the company extended the production shutdown until April the 30th. The PSA Group, which includes Peugeot, Citroën, DS, Opel, and Vauxhall, announced on March the 16th that all of its plants across Europe would shut down on a tiered schedule. As of March the 16th, 2 plants had shut down, 1 in France and 1 in Spain, and on March the 17th, 8 additional plants were offline. 3 other plants halted production on March 18th and 2 more on March 19th. The plants are spread across France, Spain, the UK, Poland, Germany, and other various locations. The plants were to reopen on March the 27th, but the PSA Group announced today that it would establish a new timeline for resumption. Renault of France said it would suspend production until further notice at 12 of its sites across the country on March the 16th. The Italian supercar maker Ferrari announced on March the 16th that both of its plants in Italy would shut down until March the 27th. And then on March the 27th, they postponed production resumption until April the 14th. Lamborghini shut down on March the 13th, and it is unclear when production will begin again. And Ducati, the motorcycle manufacturer, announced that it would stop production at its plant in Italy on March the 13th. The plant was supposed to reopen on March the 18th, but postponed until March the 25th. Now keep in mind that all of these dates are tentative. Developments and updates are happening daily with this virus. So nobody is sure when auto production will resume and the world gets back to a normal daily operation. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Ring that bell notification so you know every time I drop a video. And please like this video. It really helps the channel out. I want to hit 1,000 subscribers in the next couple of months. Let's make it happen. We see now that history has repeated itself. We haven't seen the auto industry shut down to this proportion since World War II. Car production was stopped in the U.S. for over 3 years, from February 9th, 1942 until June 30th, 1945. During this time, the military converted most auto factories to produce Jeeps, combat cars, aircraft engines, anti-aircraft guns, machine guns, shells, helmets, and other military equipment. For those looking to purchase a new car during this time, leftover 1941 and 1942 models were on the car lots for sale, if you could find one. Today, we aren't sure how long the auto manufacturer shutdown will last, but we will see the 2019 and 2020 models remain on the car lots for sale. Will this shutdown mean a delay on the upcoming model changes for 2021 to 2023? We simply aren't sure. Only time will tell. And in other auto news, Detroit canceled its famous Detroit Auto Show as FEMA declared the TCF Center, where the event is held, as a COVID-19 field hospital. The annual Auto Expo was nixed after the Federal Emergency Management Agency designated its host venue, the TCF Center, a coronavirus field hospital, as reported to the Detroit Free Press. Formerly known as the North American International Auto Show, the Detroit show was moved to June this year after occupying a winter slot on the International Car Show circuit for decades. The re-envisioned show, which was set to include outdoor activities such as ride and drives and self-driving car displays, will instead take place in June of 2021. The NAIAS has planned to offer media days on June the 9th and June the 10th, with public show days running June the 13th through the 20th. And as expected, car sales have plummeted in Q1 due to the coronavirus. Even with good sales in January and February, March was brutal to the auto industry. Some showrooms are even closed due to lack of customers or simply as a precaution to the spread of the virus. And finally, in a bit of good news, bad news, Gas prices have dropped to pre-Hurricane Katrina amounts because the demand is so low during this stay-at-home order time. Gas prices had skyrocketed and stayed high after Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Prices had gone down to a more reasonable amount over the past couple of years, but since the COVID-19 pandemic, we are seeing prices back to amounts we saw prior to Hurricane Katrina. Some local gas stations are as low as $1.25 a gallon for regular octane at places like Costco and Sam's Club. For the most part, here in Spartanburg, South Carolina, gas prices are around an average of $1.59. Thank you so much for watching Kevin's Auto Channel. I'm Kevin Walters, and I hope you have a great day. And stay safe and stay at home.